you hear the captain sing, crying out across the stars? It is the anthem of the players, crushed beneath the endless charge.
When the packs are 99 and the servers barely run, then the game becomes a prison and the players say,
we're done.
Will you join the cause today? Raise your banners through the void. Stand together as a people. Make the galaxy annoyed. When the credits fuel the chains and the joy is sold away, we will fight for what was promised and we'll take the game we play. Will you buy or will you fight for a fleet that's truly free? Will you pay $100 just to grind the same debris? Same debris.
All right, y'all give me just a second. I'm making sure everything is set back up. For those that don't know, my computer died the other day, so had to get a new computer. Not everything is set back up, so if everything looks different, that's why.
We won't pay them anymore.
Do you hear the captain sing of the bugs they will not bear, of the lag that steals the battles, of the devs who do not care?
When the players take a stand and the cash flow starts to fall,
And the overlords will answer to the captain's one and all. This is more than just a game.
it's the fleets we've built with pride.
You can't price away our honor. You can't steal the trek inside. When the stars are ours to claim, and the night begins to dawn,
Then tomorrow's trek is ours and the battle will be won.
Okie dokie. All right, turn this on down. All right, everybody, we're here. We are live. Hopefully everything works fine. Y'all let me know if there's any problems, if there's any sound issues, etc. We're like on bare basics mode, trying to get everything set back up. But yeah, computer died, which if you've been following on Twitch, for all those who are here, good to see you, by the way. Appreciate y'all. Y'all knew this was the writing was on the wall, so we were kind of preparing for it. But it died on Black Friday, like the day after. So I'm currently trying to get everything back and then just going throughout the process because, of course, you know, STFC had to find a way to add to the complications. I cannot log into my Server 710 account. I tried to reset my password. It says, no, you can't reset your password. So I'm waiting to hear back from customer support. And if they don't get back to me, then I will, I'll get with some of the overlords on Monday morning to get that sorted out. But if you are from my alliance on Horde, my apologies. If you have not seen our post on our Discord, I'm out. So like, if y'all are raiding me on server 710, like, enjoy the stuff. It is what it is. But anyway, did have to buy a new computer, so that's on the credit card. Woohoo. Not exactly a fun thing to do, but you know what? Sometimes you do what you got to do. And we're going to try to get through as much as we can today. And I'm sure y'all have a lot of things to talk about. There's definitely been some of your favorite features of STFC. Many of you call them bugs, and everybody else calls them features. And also, I just want to say, Faction Hunt, feel hit or miss. Some people really like the Faction Hunt changes, some do not. I'd be very curious to see what people think about Faction Hunt when I get to talk to y'all, because obviously my YouTube community could be different than my Twitch community, Reddit, Facebook, Discord. Everybody can have different takes, so it's good for me to try to get all of them, as many of them as I can. So we'll get y'all's thoughts on that. Tanner says, congrats on a new PC. I'll be honest, man, even though it's a business expense, I don't know if I can congrats spending that amount of money. It is what it is. I don't know if you enjoy buying things as much when it's for a business, right? Like it's not like back in the day where I gamed for fun. This is not, I don't know. But we're back. So it's just one of those, I'm glad we're here more than anything, because even beyond the whole, you know, work thing, y'all are also in my social life, and many of you are my friends. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it says a lot about me, but either way we're here, and either way we're here playing STFC. So here we are. All right. So let's see. Current faction hunt is good. Better than was, says Brain Dig. Let's see. We've got the, don't forget, the Join Now edition of Faction Hunt. And then we also have had some changes to the ALB. And I've had some people come with complaints about the ALB. Some people like the ALB. And the main thing changing here is that every hostile, doesn't matter what you're hitting, counts as 10 points. Doesn't matter if you're hitting a level 70 or level 25. I actually had some of my higher levels who were frustrated by that. I've had some people who loved it. Very curious to see what everybody thinks. For me personally, for an ALB, I think it's perfect. Now, far be it from me to go crazy, but I absolutely love the Faction Hunt ALB. How it's set up. It's simple. It's basic. It's literally you grind it, you win it. Which means that if you are in, say, the top alliance on a server, so for example, this account is on the top account. The top player, the top grinder is Primal Badger, who is a G4 player. Our top player in the top alliance on server 20 for the ALB is a hardcore grinding G4 player. I mean, me personally, again, this is an alliance that is made almost entirely of G7 and G6 people. And it's a G4 player that is leading in the ALB. I love this format. I understand maybe not everybody will agree. So I'm here to get thoughts and opinions. But I mean, this player has scored, gosh, this is a lot of points. 70,360 as a G4 player. And for reference, Hath is a Veil player, level 72, right? And they've scored, less, significantly less. Now, I've scored very little. I think I have a good excuse for scoring very little. So before anybody gets onto Rev for scoring basically nothing, I feel like I have a good excuse. Y'all can see those little 40 points over there. I don't need your judgment, okay? I don't need your judgment. And those points came from doing armadas. So, no judgment. You let me live my life, okay? I have a good excuse this weekend for not doing any grinding. But all that said, there's my opinion. What is everybody else's opinion? Mermaid Domi, Jonathan, good to see you. EQ, Mark, Brainic, Dinwit, Bruno, Athlete, welcome in. Welcome in. Now, Athlete says the rep gain in the faction hunt is negligible. We're getting more rep for daily faction hunt. Unsure what they're aiming for here. Oh, I can tell you that on the events. The rep's not really the focus point, although it will vary based on your levels. Let's just go look at one. Like, do I care about 24 million rep at level 63? Absolutely not. But do I care about the officer XP? Yes. The faction credits? Yes. The Sigma materials? Absolutely. That's where they're trying to get you. Like that's where they're trying to pay out, make it valuable is all this stuff. The rep? Yeah, not really. Cool. Rep is rep. Most people in G4 through G6 are going to be doing their reputation hauls through mirror universe runs, right? So yeah, you're right. The rep is not big here, but they did definitely increase the other rewards, the secondary, the tertiary rewards, and that's where your banging buck is. Now, I'm still here. I'm very happy to hear if people won't be like, hey, it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied with it. All that's okay. I'm definitely not trying to lead people to be like, yeah, you gotta love what STFC has put together. But for a long time, faction hunt's not really been much in terms of rewarding for rep. I don't think it's it hasn't been valuable rep wise in quite some time. And that's only because they've made rep so easy to get in other areas. Now I can understand the argument that somebody might make. Hey, well, that just means that they need to make the rep better in this event. Cool. I'm okay with that. But I'm more curious what people think about the other items in there. Like, are you more excited about the, officer XP? Are you more excited about the faction credits? Are you more excited about the uncommons, the rares that might apply to you? And do you feel like it's valuable? So, SS Whoop says, Rev, congrats on the new PC for your business. Is it at least more powerful? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to downgrade. Like, if I wanted to stay where I was at, I just would have spent, I would have definitely spent less money. I would probably spend about a third as much money to fix the other one as getting the new one. The other one's 3 years old, and while it definitely had some really good pieces in it, we went ahead and just upgraded all the way. So, yes, in particular, the graphics card And that's where they get you. Today, right now, it's going to blow people's minds because things have changed so much. Now, I already had the RAM that I'm using, for those curious, but the GPU and the RAM combined are about $1,900. That's just that's two components. RAM has skyrocketed in price. It's gone absolutely ridiculous. RAM that was, $300 last year is $600 this year. So the graphics card is a 5070 Ti. That's from a 3070 Ti, so it's a big jump. And the processor is the new Intel Ultra 7 265s. So, but Brandon says figured $1,900 for just the video card. If I would have gone for like a 5090, but that's just, again, for the top end of what you can get a PC to be today, my credit limit doesn't apply to that. So, yeah. But thankfully, I had the RAM already, so we saved a little bit there. Anyway, back to the focus. Bob says, I just pick up factions doing other events and then maybe fill one out if close to max. That's completely fair. For me, there's a little bit of that immersion aspect where I don't like to grind Klingons because, look, you got to find what you can to enjoy in STFC, and something that I enjoy is being Klingon. So I don't tend to hunt them, which might be silly for many people. And to be clear, I'm not advocating that y'all should follow my lead in that one, but it's just kind of where I'm at. Like I avoid the Klingons because I too am Klingon, Jesus says, just unlock the GS31. I watched a video saying it's supposed to unlock holodeck missions that have parts and research used for them. Is it maybe ops lock because I'm still ops 50? Now there are multiple locks. In fact, let me pull up the specialty ship locks in totality. We got a spreadsheet for that. 1 second. Now, again, be mindful that I do not have all this set up. So if it's wonky and it takes me a while to get things going, I do apologize. But let's do display capture. This monitor. We need to put this down here. Give me just a second, y'all. I'm trying to get this set up so that y'all can get the information. Because in the spreadsheet that we have an ops progression spreadsheet. Shout out to Jules who originally made it. A lot of us have editing access. A lot of us go through it and try to move things around. Here are all the various ops locks for the various ships in the game, especially ship-wise, obviously. So the GS31 you can see down there. To see tiers 4 and above, it's ops 51. To get to tier 10 and above, it is ops 61. And then finally, there is a lock down at 68 to get you to, a lock at 67 rather, to get you tiers 13 through 15 right there at the very end. There's also some other things that are a little bit more limited. Now, I will point this out real quick. If you're looking for GS31 parts, they did add them into the event store this go around. So find your way over to the event store tab real quick and do a little click and then scroll all the way to the end, because that's a big kicker that a lot of people haven't done. They'll click on it and be like, oh, there's Vindicator, there's Relativity, there's Revenant, there's NSCA, and you're like, oh, well, all the newer ships are up front. Wrong. Scroll your happy self all the way to the end, and you'll find the GS31. And for most players, it's going to be a big recommendation in terms of like what has some of the most value in the event store right now. GS31 parts, because if you're G5 or G6, it is one of, if not the strongest specialty ship you have. So that's a big one. Now, I also want to shout out the Relativity parts, especially for my G4 and G5 players, as that can be very, very valuable for you. But if you didn't know, it's at the very end. You got to scroll all the way, and then you'll find those GS31 parts. Why you have to scroll all the way? I don't have that answer. Just do it. Just go scrolling. Just go scrolling. Okay? Just do it. Go all the way there. Don't expect consistency in Star Trek Fleet Command. Expect consistency from your content creators. Me, Major Samo, Zero G's, Ultra Vetica. Don't expect consistency from the game. That's just asking to be disappointed. So don't do that. But everything else, yeah, expect consistency. What do I want to spend? I'll hold off on that for now. I'll say that last one and probably forget about it. But you've read that FC Janeway with max research enables you to max out Q trials. Thoughts? Well, she does help with Q trials. Do you need FC Janeway to max out the Q trials? No. But will she help? Yes. The earliest we've seen people max out that is level 56. We've got several people who have maxed out their Q trials level 56, and FC Janeway is a big part of that. But you can do it eventually without ever having Janeway. especially with the amount of power creep that has entered into the game today with the officers between Pipe Road Chin, Pipe Road Anorax, etc. But I mean, yeah, just to answer your question, Janeway definitely does help. So, yeah, it definitely does help. Let me check. I have you. Yeah, I have you max. Okay. Trying to remember where everything's at now. Expanded Q trials when? Hey, I wish I had that answer. Hopefully soon. Because it'd be nice to expand the Q trial so we can actually max out things. For example, the quantum slipstream, which you cannot max right now. Any of the original FTs are locked behind a Q trial level that just doesn't exist. And I get asked about it regularly, and I'm just I have to tell people continually, like, sorry, there's just nothing you can do about that right now. You're just SOL. You're up the creek without a paddle. Put in your favorite cliche here and there. But I would like them to do that so that I can get Quantum Slipstream maxed out once I finally unlock it, which will be a while. I'm still many shards away from it, but at some point it would be nice to have. I'm gonna say you're the best. Keep up the good work. Been here since level 10, and now you're 7 exclamation point. I'm assuming 71, 72, etc. So hey, good to see you. What do you mean we could finally get the promised bonus from the FT camp? Bruno, I know you're German first, but you're going to have to work on your English structure because that is a illegible sentence. Got the Kashar from the tournament recently. Congratulations, Time Lord. The Kashar is a fantastic addition to your game. Congratulations on your pickup. I am going to, since we're bringing up things that we need to do, you bring up Kashar for grinding. I actually need to go throw some things out. Also got to pay attention to Takeover. I forgot we got Takeover here in 10 minutes. So don't forget your territories, ladies and gentlemen. I hate that I'm missing them over on server 710. But Helvey, we got to get our territories in so we can complete that battle pass. Let me go ahead and start dumping all of these ships in here so we can get our credits. Unlock ability to try to upgrade at sub 10%. No idea what you're talking about, Chad. Again, if you're going to make comments, I do try to read everybody's comments. Please add context to your comments because I am unlikely to just be able to just immediately know what you're talking about. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. You really enjoyed the IKS Borat. That was sick. Yeah, it's very kind for Haywire and the group to give us some of that because obviously most of us aren't there. But some people like it, some people don't. I've had some people gripe, like, you know, what's the point of showing content? I'm years away from it. Well, a lot of us enjoy seeing what's in the future, especially if we can refer back to it and say, okay, what's changed? Has it got better? Has it got worse? Is it still as valuable, you know, now as it was then? I like that stuff. But if you haven't checked it out, we did do a video on the IKS Boreth, which is one of the first level 73 ships in existence. Shout out to Haywire and Sith over on what is now server 118, though I will forever remember them as server 121. And congrats to Willie for building your Otaran. Congratulations. Kapla to you as well. And how high have you taken it? That's the big question. How high have you managed to grab it? So, Pups asked the question, Materials Refiner, grade 5 material fragment exchange. At which building level does the grade 6 fragments exchange unlock? Let me pull up the spreadsheet because I do not remember, but that's why we have a spreadsheet. Which spreadsheet is it under is the question. Which spreadsheet is that one in? Another problem, I know it feels like I'm ranting about silly things, but another issue is now that I've had to put up the new computer, all the it's the little things that you miss. All my spreadsheets were all organized in like tabs and folders on the other browser, and because it died, I lost that. So now I've got to reorganize all that. So Outpost Control Center, where do we have that is? It's got to be in the Outpost. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Outpost. Let's see if we can find it. What would you love to see in a new CT or FT? You want to be honest, Joanne? I don't want any more CTs and FTs. Honest to God, and I hope Scopely hears that. They have such a bad problem with constantly just bringing out new of the same crap we've already had before. If you want my honest to God opinion, there does not need to be a single new FT or a single new CT to hit the game. Scopely and STFC really need to focus on new mechanics, not constantly rehashing and power creeping old mechanics. It's what keeps putting them in the mess they're in. So, my opinion, there should not be another FT or CT to come out. We should be done with those. Move on to a new mechanic. Should not happen at all. Whether they'll make one, I have no idea. But if you're asking my opinion, which you did, I do not think there should be another one. All right. Let's see. Where do we have the levels on here? So we can... Yeah, building level... building level 60... I'm sorry. Building level 40 unlocks G6. And then building level 63 unlocks G7. For those who are asking about the materials. But they got to sell us something? Yeah, make a new mechanic. Stop copy and pasting crap. Make a new mechanic. Think we need new officers that aren't hostile based? So general officers, since that's what the outpost is based on. I mean, yeah, that's obviously a route they could go, as in we don't have a ton of generic officers. We don't have a ton of generic officers. At the same time, oh man, part of me wants to say no. And maybe I'm just like being the grumpy old man who's tired of all the things constantly getting added and changed. I think that entire way of thinking in STFC has to change. Do we actually need more officers for outpost style? No, we don't. We just need to get the ones that are already in the game. There needs to be brand new mechanics in this game. We really have gotten to the point, and maybe I'm just entering into a rant mode right now. We've really got to stop just like, oh, 3 officers this month. Oh, make another FT. Oh, make another artifact. Oh, make another ship. There needs to be a new format. What has been done is no longer working. They need to make drastic changes. And I would rather the game go down fighting, trying to make drastic changes to make things better than to just ride things as they are into the ground and however long that takes. So you're not going to hear Rev saying, oh yeah, I would love if they made this new FT. No, I would not. I would love if they explored something new. Genuine newness. Now, to their credit, the Veil is technically that, and I do respect the concept of the Veil. I really like the concept of the Veil. Also love that the Veil is getting rid of all those stupid rows that, you know, a few servers cling to, and they're realizing, oh, you can't make everybody else cling to your row. I love that. But they truly need to continue on that path. It has to be new things, new ideas, fresh ideas. That's what the game really needs. So hopefully we'll get that. All right, what else we got? What are the jump requirements from 50 to 51? I don't understand what you're asking, Isaiah. You're going to need to clarify your statement. So, they need to retire some old stuff before they launch new. Bring it back later if wanted. We are turning into the Cheesecake Factory of games. So many options, none of them sound good. Exactly. Yeah, that's 100% correct. And I think that's just where a lot of players are at. And there are good features that they have that could, you know, now everybody's going to agree with some of this, but I'm going to name multiple features. Like they just did a cow update. That was good. That's needed. They need to update PvP arenas, as in we saw there was real interest in PvP arenas when they were running events with it. When they don't run events with it, you get like 4,000 people across the entire world competing. And yet they will be the same people asking, why is nobody doing arenas? You've been told why. Do what we've asked you to do. So anyway, back before we get sidetracked, everybody focus on Faction Hunt. What are people's thoughts on Faction Hunt? Let's redirect instead of just turning this into a ask whatever question. Faction Hunt focus. What does everybody think about the Faction Hunt changes? I really like the AOB. I'm indifferent to the SMSs, but I'm very curious to hear what everybody has to say about them. And that way I can pass that along to the feedback tomorrow. Why join button? I guess my response to that is why not? I don't care either way. Faction Hunt used to require a join button, then it went to not requiring a join button. Now it has a join button. I don't care either way. I think the only thing that needs to happen is it to be communicated, you know, reminded of people. So now you have to click that you actually want to do it. Yeah. Slack says remove the penalty for losing. See, Slack, I 1000% disagree with that. I think that makes arenas way worse, and I would never recommend that. And no game with an MMR works like that. I don't think that's good at all. I think that's terrible. I think there are ways you make arenas better. That's not one of them. So, and 78, that's been suggested for 7 years. Don't worry. Will it ever happen? No. But it's been suggested for 7 years. I'll assume the join button is because people not triple rep grinding again. Well, so how it was previously is you just went and ground out whichever one you want to do. So like if you didn't want to affect your rep, you just didn't go hit certain ones in the event, which is still technically true. Now there's just a join button in the way. So I don't, it really just depends on, where's my faction? There it is. It just depends on, do you have that preference? I'm not going to, again, it really depends on, I guess, the level of player, because most players in the game no longer faction hunt hostiles to get rep. That doesn't happen anymore. Everybody goes to mirror if you're in G4 through G6. Now, G3 players and G7 players can be an exception to that, but obviously G3 and G7 are the smaller sets of the game. So most people don't even do hostiles in factions to get their points. So, I mean, is there a need for the join button? I think that's very debatable. Is it worth bringing up in feedback? Y'all tell me. So, now Davis says absolutely nothing has changed on the SMS outside. You have to join now. That's incorrect. The rewards have definitely changed. The rewards have definitely changed. Now, that doesn't mean they drastically changed it's the greatest event in the world, but they did change. Just like COTA changed, though we argue COTA changed for the negative. Slack says G7 faction hunt rewards are out of whack effort. Also, the join button was obviously a feature request from a subset of users who asked for the protect me from myself, which they failed to explain. As always, the failure to explain will continue to bite Scopely in the butt. Well, I'm still trying to get better about it. STFC in the butt. Scopely is much better than STFC. Yeah, it is what it is. STFC is a unique brand of problem. So now Nuts asks why the join now button. Wasted my time killing ROMs and had to hit the block twice and messed up my rep grind. See, again, I think communication is necessary. I don't care if there's a join button or not. It does provide an element of preventative, sabotage there, where if you don't accidentally do something to your account you don't want to do. So again, that can be argued a good thing. At the same time, if you don't realize it's there and you go out saying, hey, it's faction hunt. Here, let's go into the news channel. So when they're announcing these events and stuff, they need to say, hey, they don't even have the event list up right now. This has changed about faction hunt. You need to hit the join now button. And you're still going to have those people who don't pay attention, who don't read, who don't look at the announcements. But either way, it needs to be communicated. And right now, my alliance has been just pinging on Discord, hey, make sure you join your faction hunt so that it counts. Now, Denwit says their only issue with the join button is the lack of communication about it right after committing to transparency. Yep. Again, can't argue that at all. Seawolf says 245 people here. Only 41 hit the like button. There's a free way to show your support and help others find this content. Smash a thumbs up. Thank you. Seawolf, this is very kind of you to say. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. And there are amazing people here. Shout out to those amazing people. We appreciate y'all being freaking awesome. Thank you. So, yeah, glad you're here. Yo, Tim, thank you for gifting out 5 memberships on the website. I also want to promote something real quick. Thank you all for being here, number one. But if y'all haven't yet, check out revduce.com. Now, the reason I'm plugging my website is not just so you can donate to it, but if you want to donate to it, you're more than welcome. But I do want to encourage y'all to check the members only area. Since we're talking about Scopely right now and transparency. Myself and Alex, aka Ripper, the guy who created STFC at Space, the guy who created the community mod, we did a podcast episode. Normally the podcast, etc., you have to be a member on the website to access. This one we've made available to everybody. And inside this, we actually cover what Scopely did not. Scopely did a post in their State of the Game of what they were doing for stability and lag, but they didn't really go into detail of what any of that meant. So what you ended up having was a lot of players were saying things like, oh, well, Scopely used a lot of words to say very little, which is reminiscent of several people that I know. People who like to talk a lot and not actually say anything. But if you are curious some of the things that Scopely is actually doing to try to work on stability and lag, what does the 99.9% actually mean? What's the 97.7% mean? What are they actually doing with Unity 6? We give you some of the behind the scenes details. So if you're curious about some of that, check out revduce.com podcast. You do not have to be a member to listen to that episode. If you want to listen to the other 14 episodes we have, feel free to sign up to support me monthly But that podcast episode is available for everybody. So y'all go check it out if you haven't already. We got a lot of good episodes there that cover everything, actually. The podcast we started with, we covered why Scopely kicked me from their program. We've covered mobile PC gaming, Scopely, why they do monthly updates. We've talked about the history of STFC.space. We've gone into a lot of deep topics. Y'all check that out if you want more information, kind of like behind the scenes, but not like behind the scenes useless information, like actual, here's what they're doing, and here's what that can mean, or here's why they should do things better. And in fact, in that podcast episode, we talk about maybe some of the things they're doing to try to make things better are incredibly inefficient and not the right way to do something. But that's for y'all to determine when y'all go listen to it. And I would really encourage y'all to go check it out. So anyway, there you go. There you go. Thanks for the reminder, hitting the like button. There you go, Edmund. Nice. Denwood says, love the lower level hostile requirements of the Faction Hunt SMSs and get all 3 done in the time 1 used to take. So Denwood saying a positive for them. Now, Denwood, if you would be so kind, please provide your ops level and such. Like for comparison's sake, what ops are you at? And were you doing Faction Hunt before? I think those are 2 good points that would add some context to why you maybe like it, maybe why others don't. And I would really like to just, again, explore how many people are enjoying the change or not enjoying the change, just overall. But welcome in, everybody. If you're one of the 267 people here, shoot your questions. We're going over Faction Hunt and just trying to find what is the best feedback to pass on to the overlords. That's my job. So, Denwood says, just hit Op 60 today and been doing Faction Hunt every time it's been up. And see, that's, one, I love that context because on this account, this is the level 63 Sigma account, I've not done Faction Hunt in easily over a year. Just because the Faction Hunt hasn't felt valuable in a long time. There is a renewed value in Faction Hunt now. I still don't know if I would say it's very valuable, but it is definitely more valuable right now. And had my computer not crashed, I very well probably would have done it this time around. So now James says the best source for officer XP. I do want to point something out, James. You're not wrong that it can give you officer XP, but I love giving everybody more tidbits of information. Don't forget your away teams can be your best source of officer XP if you go through your research. So remember, go into your actual away teams 2.0 research now. There are 2 missions I've really been encouraging people to make sure you're working through your progress path, you're getting things done. You want to get priority 1 officer XP acceleration and priority 1 ship XP acceleration. These 2 are very, very good to get to help you have more of that ship and officer XP. But that Faction Hunt officer XP is also very good if you're doing all 3 of them. More is more, and that has been one of the valuable things about that for a long time, about Faction Hunt. So just more ways to get more things. You just want to make sure everybody's aware of all the different things and all the different ways we want to get all the stuff. So I also would encourage y'all, make sure you're working on getting these maxed out as quickly as you can for your ops level. These will help you with your success rate. All right, Stingray says Op 60, they regularly do Faction Hunt. Love that it's easy. When it's easy, it doesn't matter how little it rewards. If it's harder, it needs to reward more. I agree with that statement. GT Carrot says I'm level 68 and I still do Faction Hunt as well. I'm happy for the more relevant rewards. I used to mostly do tier ups, but the Dauntless has helped me complete them. So since you brought that point up, it's worth engaging on how does everybody feel about the fact that tier ups were removed? How does everybody feel about that? Good, bad, indifferent, ugly, don't care, like it. That was something that I figured was going to be a little contentious of a topic. But what do y'all think? And Pa, thank you so much for the 5 memberships to the channel. Again, appreciate you supporting me and my family. It means a lot. Now, Mark says they feel cheated. Hypo says they don't like it. William says they're fine. You never save tier ups for it. Tular says they don't care about tier ups. Zoltan says they didn't use it much. Adam says not bothered. Edmund says tier ups were never an issue for Faction Hunts in their opinion. Slag says I do Faction Hunt for the Alliance board rewards. Completely fair. Which is actually one of the reasons I encouraged, STFC to do some of these updated events, because Faction Hunt, Crucible of War, very important for your alliance as a whole. Slag says didn't even notice the tier ups being removed. So we've had a couple people who care, and clearly so far, a lot of people who don't. Which again, there's no wrong answer. It's important for me to try to see so I can gauge feedback. Let's see. Nut says they only use the tier up when they were short on time. Stinger says indifferent, never really used that part of the mechanic before. And Leonard says, I'm listening to the lower level players in my alliance screaming bloody murder. About what, Leonard? Add context. What are they screaming bloody murder on? So, Rob says I tier up as soon as ready, event or not, so you don't care. Completely fair. Generally how I think probably most people play, but at the same time, I understand. You know, some people may be wanting, having that option is nice if you don't want to go do that grind, or you don't have a Dauntless, or you don't have the Kashara artifact to make these processes easier. Fender says didn't even know that tier ups were a thing. I think a lot of this has come back for some of y'all that are maybe like me who haven't done faction hunt in a while, had forgotten some of the mechanics, because previously, if you wanted to like really quickly finish your faction hunt, then you could do just something as simple as doing a tier up mechanic. Now, is that the best way? Not necessarily the best way, because again, faction hunt did not always align with maybe a great weekend spend event. So you'd be spending materials and upgrading something that either one, you didn't really need, like an older ship. You know, let's just say you're doing an old D4, right? But it was nice to have that convenience of an option. But yeah, King God said do not mind, and I like that the AOB is a grind event, so we all are on the same playing field. So the grinder can have the glory moments. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. King Gaza, we're currently, this is the #1 alliance on this server, but our top scorer is a G4 player. And not only are they the top scorer, they're the top scorer by a lot. More than double the next player. And this is a level 45 account. Primal Badger out here just going hardcore on the hostile ship destroys to get big points. Because now everybody's on the same playing field. You can be level 70 or you can be level 25. And technically a higher level player is going to have a better ability to do those grinds because you'll have more access to things like a Dauntless, right? You're more likely, if you're a player in the 70s, to have bought a Dauntless. You're more likely to have Kashara Artifact, either have it or maxed it out. But in terms of like just one-to-one work, you've got the ability right there for everybody to be on the same playing field. And I personally like that. Slag, dude, Slag, next time you'll do that, do the website, bro. Thank you so much, though. Holy crap, 50 memberships. That's insane. Everybody's going to have a green name. Everybody say thank you, Slag, to Rickus. Thank you to Pa, and thank you to Tim. All these people being kind. We got 60 memberships to YouTube being given out today. That is a way that you financially support here on YouTube, as well as gives you access to, well, we don't really do exclusive content on YouTube. It's all on the website, but you get access to special emotes and stuff here on the channel, which is really cool. So, Slag, thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate your generosity. And if you're one of those lucky 60 people so far who have gotten caught with the memberships, congratulations. Is this a competition for gifts? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it is. Denway says, on the other hand, lower level players are more likely to have a hostile faction, which would be a huge advantage. I can see that argument. My only problem with that argument is the auto grind function in STFC takes so long when you're talking about faction auto grinds. That is not an efficient way to do it. Now, I'm not in any way saying you're wrong. There's absolute merit to what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to score high, that's not an efficient way to get your scoring in. But it is definitely a way to score. And you are right that when you get into G4, what do we tell everybody? To triple faction grind with mirror. And if you don't have negative with a faction, well, you can't auto grind with it. That is something that you're going to have advantageous to lower levels. You know, I apparently function well enough to remember to do things out of being slapped in the face, like the giant banner that showed up in chat. I didn't even know a giant banner showed up, Slag. So you know what? Shout out to giant banners and shout out to you, Slag. I really appreciate you being kind to my family. It means so much. Thank you very much for supporting me and mine. Again, it's very kind of you. Thank you. GT says, in my alliance, you're number 6 for Alliance Faction Hunt. Top 5 of my alliance are all G4. So what you're all saying to me right now is that the G6 players, the G7 players are lazy and they need to get their butts in gear because they're getting outperformed by G4 players. That's what I'm hearing right now. Every single one of y'all are saying that your G5, G6, G7 players are not doing enough. That's what I'm hearing. So if you're out there, you're currently being shamed. There's some hardcore grinders right now who are just putting in work. shout out to the G4s who are doing that. Shout out to the G3s who are doing that. And gosh, I wish I could see what my alliance on server 710 is doing, but I gotta wait for Scopely to get back to me. Let me see if they've responded to my email ticket yet. Very unlikely, but let's just see. So, yeah. Let's see. 1 second. Let's check our email. Nope. No message from the overlords of Scopely. So, shocker. I know. We're all shocked by that. We're all shocked by that. Tasty dinner on deck tomorrow. Rosemary beef stew and a slow cooker. Sounds great. You know what else not getting points in the Unity event? Working fine from my end. I would say this is, one quick thing to try is go into your settings, go into general, and then do the old clear localization and reboot and see if that fixes it. I did see a couple of posts like that in my Discord earlier. If y'all are not in my Discord, that is probably the easiest way to contact me every day, not counting my website, which is the best way to contact me. But if you're not in the Discord, there you go. And join that, and that way you can post. If there's a problem happening in game, it makes it easier for me to see it. And that way I can spend more time, trying to talk with the overlords about various problems of the game. And just to add a little bit more detail into that, most of the overlords communicate on Discord. So like they have an internal Slack that they use, but in terms of like talking to them, that's the number one way. I have 2 people at Scopely, like I have their phone number. I can like text or call them, but almost everybody in terms of Scopely communicates mostly on Discord. They are even on Reddit. I don't know how many of y'all actually use Reddit. And I'm just saying all this stuff just so, because I do want to make clear that you don't have to be a content creator to talk to Scopely. You don't have to be a content creator to try to push for change. But I do want y'all to know where those people are. And Discord is where they are the most. Game design, live ops, all the community managers are on Discord. And if you're just one of those people who don't want to use Discord, no worries. You can always reach out to me. So, is there sourcing for Sigma at Ops 60? I have some. Don't know where I got it. I have ships that need it for repairs. The only way to get Sigma at Ops 60 is via your Revenant scrap. And then when you scrap your Revenant, which is going to be in this one, you get that 10-day pull. And once you've done that Mark III, you have that 10 days, you'll get to pull Sigma materials. Oh, thank you, Zuli. Yeah, Zuli, I hate that I'm missing this right now. I hate that I'm missing it. But I did tell our alliance I'm out right now. Let me make another post. All right, yeah. Your studio looks awesome. Well, thank you, Joe. Yeah, this is usually our Twitch background. I've got it up right now because I don't have everything reset up since the computer broke. But here, there's a big old Batleth back there, and my Klingon flag, and my Gengar, and there's a 3-dimensional chess set. There's Star Trek wine up there. All kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, thank you. And I need to shave. Goodness, I'm getting real beardy over here. I need to shave. All right, back to small rev. There we go. Yeah, green screen's actually over there. I need a new green screen. The green screen's actually broken as well. You use stuff every day, things break. It happens. All right, now Harley bringing us back on topic. Tier ups were to avoid losing rep before triple grind. They're not missing them. Heard. Is STFC the only game you create content for? On this channel, yes. I'm also partnered with Gaijin, and I make content for War Thunder over on Twitch if you ever want to come over there and hang out with us. And I'm still waiting to hear back from the new Star Trek game that's coming out, the Star Trek Voyager game, so that I can partner with them. So, still waiting on that to get going. It's been a bit. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to bug them again about that, just because it's been probably about a month since I talked to them about that game. Use OBS. I use OBS and Streamlabs. Streamlabs for Twitch, OBS for YouTube. All right. Just as you use this all the time. Usually I use the green screen for YouTube, just because, you know, I just do. But it just varies, honestly. It varies. Our incursion is still on hold. We'll know more hopefully Monday. So the last time, just to fill y'all in, the last time I personally talked to Scopely was Wednesday, so the day before Thanksgiving. Did not talk to them on Friday because of the computer dying, so I've not had any interaction with them. What I was told Wednesday is that there is a tentative, depending on testing, depending on if things they test work, as in the rating mechanics work, they have some more testing to do. If that worked, then we were looking at either the 5th or the 6th of December. So this upcoming weekend. So not today, but next weekend. However, that is not set in stone. And they've got to confirm that that's actually going to happen. If I had to give you a what does it seem likely right now, I'd actually be leaning towards probably unlikely that incursion is happening at the moment, but we should be getting an official communication. So, yeah. We'll see. We should get an official communication tomorrow, but I'm expecting as of now for it to not happen. The original plan was for it to be this upcoming weekend, but they had to do several tests to make sure the mechanic would be working correctly. So, yeah. Have you played that Star Trek strategy game that came out a year or two ago? If you're talking about, there wasn't a strategy game. There was like a small, like kind of indie RPG game. But are the hijack skins worth getting at Ops 50? If you think they're cool, that would be yes. If you think they're cool. Like, I would not say spend money on them or don't necessarily hold back your gameplay to get them. They are really neat though, but they're not a must-have. Now, let's say you're one of those players who wants to spend more time at a level, like maybe you're not ready to go into G5 and you're going to sit at level 50 for a couple of months, 3 months, whatever you want to do, then yes, I would. But what I am saying is that like you're not going to so drastically improve your game by getting them that you should stop your gameplay. If you're already going to play slower, then yes, pick them up. They're good to have, but they're not worth waiting on either. So play the game that is going to fit your style, and there's no wrong answer with that. First off, I'm really big on telling Scopely that they can heck off, and I tell people to ignore Scopely's constant ops up argument. And by that logic, then yeah, they're good. And if you remember, I have on the Rotaran, I have that skin. I'm not currently using it, but I do have it. But in terms of like what you're getting, that 1500% is not that great. It's okay. The efficiency is nice. The problem with the efficiency on it here, for those that don't know, you can access your refits by going into this menu right here. So in terms of the percentage you're getting, that 250% is okay. Like again, more is more. That 1500% sounds really good. If there was one that's more valuable, it's probably this one. But again, that's only valuable if you get this when your Rotaran is like tier 1. If you get it when your Rotaran is already tier 9, you're not really getting a ton of value for it. So think of them more as a really cool cosmetic. They are nice. They definitely will give you a little leg up, but I would not say like just stop your gameplay. If you were already planning on playing a little bit slower and stuff, then yeah, it makes a little bit more sense. They do look really cool though. I do love the look of them, and it was one of those things like I've been bugging them to make more skins in the game for a long time, and I've been trying to show them like, look, did you see how popular these were? Do this stuff more often. But I have 2 of them. I have the one for the Enterprise D, and I have the one for the Rotaran. Shout out to Timmy and shout out to Nemesis. Those are the 2 people who purchased those skins for this account so we could do testing and just so we can have them because they're cool. So thank you to Nemesis and Timmy who did that. That is why, by the way, if you've ever been curious or heard on older content, why we call this the Nemesis or we call that the USS Timmy, that's why. Anytime somebody buys a skin or buys me a ship, that's who we name it after. I mean, if you go through the kindness of purchasing something for me that, either I can't afford at the time or I'm not willing to buy, you know what? You get naming rights. I think that's completely fair. Station skins would be cool. Don't worry. I have bugged multiple people in game design about that for quite some time, and we'll continue to do so. Gosh, I wish my phone would stop bugging me with some. I get notifications for stuff I don't want notifications for. Go away. Stop. Stop. All right. Throw us bones, like more skins, Scopely. We might be a little bit more forgiving of your other shenanigans. Like we were talking earlier, like, you know, Rev's over here screaming the game needs new content, fresh content, not rehashes. That'd be a good thing. You know, they could make a lot of money just by selling skins to everything. Imagine if your faction ship had, you know, 10 skins that you could earn either through grinding or paying for. A lot of people would do that. How do I know? Look at every modern game in existence right now. So the only game I'm currently playing for pleasure outside of work is maybe an hour every other night. I'll log into Battlefield 6. Really like Battlefield 6. A lot of fun for me. Makes me feel like I'm young again. They have a battle pass system and it's skins and they're pointless, but people want them and people buy them. People go after them. The same would be true in STFC. I am convinced the same would be true here. Do some freaking skins, Scopely. Do some skins. Like simple things, right? Borg version of this. Hell, make captured Klingon versions. I don't care. There's options to be done. But anyway, as one former Scopely employee used to love to say, it's a slow turn of the rudder. Yeah. Yeah. It's a slow turn of the rudder. I used to get so annoyed when they would say that. I'm like, man, the last thing this game needs is a slow turn of the rudder. But sure, slow turn of the rudder. Right. Slow turn of the rudder. Let me go ahead and collect this, y'all. And yes, I'm way behind. For those, again, who didn't catch it, my computer died. And so I'm way behind on a lot of this stuff. Don't judge me. We'll be good to go when the month starts. So, hey, Viper, good to see you. Welcome in, my friend. People can make things more personal. We'll definitely be able to sell a lot. So I will tell you this, Jonathan. There are limitations on the making things personal. Mainly because of the rating system that this game has in the App Store. And there's going to be that person out there. I'm using my mouse to point at you. If you feel condemned by what I'm saying, you're guilty. There's somebody out there who would like, oh, I've got the USS, you know, something completely inappropriate. Of the 300 people here, there's at least 17 who would do this. And because this game is rated to include teenagers, younger people, they have to be very, very specific on what can be shown. Now, I know, first people are going to say, Rev, I've seen people have like, you know, penis and balls and stuff as their username. Yeah, you're supposed to report those and get them taken down. I get it. I'm just telling you the logic as to why. I'm not saying I agree with it. I do think personalization would be great. It would be great if I could have my very own NCC 1444 and it was the USS Rev Deuce. That'd be really cool. That little bit of personalization, I'm sure, would sell many tickets. Right? But that is why why it's harder to get that. I'm not saying that's a good excuse. I'm just telling you the why. I think it's always good to give context to why things are the way that they are sometimes. Even if we might want to get those things changed, it's still important to know why it's there. I think knowledge is power. I'm a firm believer of knowledge is power. That's why we did the podcast episode explaining what they're actually doing with Unity 6 and stuff. Knowledge is power. And now that you know, you can go to Scopely and argue one way or the other because you are now informed. So even if they did like pre-approved names, like let's just say that they went to Memory Alpha and they pulled actual names from various Galaxy class starships and you could pay or earn ways to have different names. Simple as that. I still think that would go a long way to making the game feel more immersive and giving people more enjoyment in the game. Now, I could be wrong there. Again, people feel free to correct me if you think that I'm wrong, that you wouldn't buy that skin or you wouldn't buy a name change or you really wouldn't care for grinding it. But I do think that a lot of people would care enough about the game to want to do that. Like if you had the option to have the USS Yorktown, how many people would rather have the USS Yorktown versus the USS Enterprise? Just because it would make them different. I think there's a lot of people like that. And I think that to use the dirty word, I think there are a lot of spenders like that. I think there are a lot of spenders out there who would be like, oh, you're still using the USS Enterprise? Oh, what a poor person. You probably use toilet paper to wipe your butt. One ply? Ha ha. I'm sure there's tons of people like that. Okay? Scopely, make your money. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You stay away from my USS Ship A? Exactly. So, I think, and I bring all these topics up because we know Star Trek Fleet Command is on a cliff right now. They're at a precipice. And what they do over the next 6 or 12 months will keep this game going a year or 7 more years. But what they do in the next 6 to 12 months are very important. I think these are the type of shifts they need to make that will help them make the financial revenue they need to make while also giving players something new, fresh, that isn't just power creeping themselves to death and back. So, how Star Trek Online dodged the issue of letting people name their own ships? Good questions, Ethan. One, it's not a mobile game. They don't have the same level of restrictions. Remember, the app stores are very, very specific. So, Google and Apple can pull you kind of at their own whims. And obviously, if STFC got pulled from those app stores, the game would die. Like, I know many of you who are diehard players. Of the people who are here right now, how many people are on right now? We got like 330 people on right now. Many of y'all play on your PC or your Mac. But you might not be surprised to hear most people still play this game on tablets or phones. Like, it's not even close. Like, the people who play on PC are a small percentage. We're talking at most 20-25% of the game. That's still a lot of people, to be clear. But if we're talking about people who basically play only on PC, Mac, I'm probably being generous saying 20-25%. And to be clear, that's still like 40,000 people. That's a lot of people. Most people still play on phone, iPad. Almost exclusively, this game is still phone and iPad. So they've got to make sure that they're minding their P's and Q's so that the overlords at Google and Apple don't go yoink. So, and see, look, there you have it. Time Lord says they play only on an iPad. King God's like, iPad at work. Frick says only 25% on PC is crazy. Playing on mobile sucks. See, again, Frick, I know I am a PC player. Like, I do use my phone to play, but it's not near as often. So, like, I get what you're saying. But again, it's remembering that most people play this game casually and for fun. Y'all would be shocked at the number of messages I get, even just on Discord, of, hey, Rev, what do you recommend for somebody who logs on every 2 days? What should I focus on? Right? Most people aren't the people who are going on a Sunday, a beautiful Sunday, hanging out with a random ginger who needs to shave, talking about Star Trek Fleet Command. You are the uncommon one, right? And I also would expect people like you, such as yourself, fine, distinguished gentlemen and gentlewomen, to be playing on a PC or Mac. But most people still play on phone or tablet only. And because of that, anyway, long-winded way to talk about that's why they're very picky about some of the things that you could say in chat. I mean, I've had people ask, why is this random thing censored? Why can I not say the word Walter? Well, apparently the word Walter is a slur in some random language. Why? I don't know. It almost feels arbitrary sometimes, words that you can and cannot say. But anyway, that's the logic as to why. You gotta be very picky on the Android and Apple Store about things that are allowed in your app based on the age setting. So, yeah. Yeah, you can't say pipe. There's a lot of things you can't say. There's a lot. Like, if I literally try to come in here and say Walter, it's like, nuh-uh. How dare you say a very common first name in Western culture? How dare you? Apparently that's an insult somewhere. I don't know. So, Najir says this game runs better on my iPhone than it does on my Threadripper PC. And my counter to that would be, I'm happy. I think that's awesome. Exact opposite experience for me. PC client has always been significantly better for me than on an iPad or my Samsung phones. But again, I can't speak for everybody. And that doesn't make what you're saying incorrect. So what you gonna do, What you gonna do? The swear filter is awesome. It's teaching me to swear in multiple languages. See, I love that you always find, you know, the happy moment, the sunny side up, the silver lining. You always find a way, my friend. I appreciate you. Yeah, GS31, we got to get that thing to tier 11. All right, now that we did that, let me go grind a little bit. So we were talking about grinding. Let's go actually grab some augment. Let's go grab some augment. We're actually going to change it up, too. I'm going to actually use my Akira because I haven't in a while. So I need to do a little bit of experimentation. And I remember how many spots I have. I think I've got 4 spots. I think. So we'll see. I've not done this in a while. I'm going to do it just for experiment and testing, just to see how far the Akira has come. I don't expect it to do better, but it's a tier 7. We'll take it to tier 9. I'm just curious. Came in late. Why are they making you join Faction Hunt? So, Brian, the simple answer is to help people. I'm getting a message. Let me make sure it's not my wife, y'all. Is it my wife? No. All right, we're good. Let me make sure my wife is all right. She's out with the kids today, and I really got into it with my oldest today. Anyway, we'll go run here and see how she does, just because warp range. What do you think the chances are that Scope will expand the Mirror Universe with another Mirror Universe arc like Enterprise? I mean, if the game lasts, good. I mean, they'll definitely do anything that they can do to expand on something they've already done. I would prefer them not. But, yeah. That wouldn't shock me at all. All right, the Akira becomes useful at tier 9. I mean, it's useful now at tier 7. Obviously, the big limitation for this, more than, not just its firing pattern, rather, so to say more than, not just its firing pattern, is the fact that, you know, you need so many below deck spots to really start getting value. The value in today's game when it comes to PvP and PvE is the below deck. That's where a good chunk of your power comes from. And the less below deck spots you have, obviously, the less that you're able to do. So that's where it really struggle buses. Oh, look, we got some OPC here. And yes, before anybody asks, we are definitely going to go hunt this. Look at that. Oh, my Lanta, yummy, yummy. We're going to take all this. If you see your name on the screen right now, you better pull it home because Rev's going to take it all. Yep. I'm going to be paying for all these repairs. 760,000. Oh, God, that's big. That's a big Serene Squall. Why are you down here? That's weird. Why is it down here? Yeah, we're definitely going to go yoink that. That's yoinkable. Very yoinkable. Are you genuinely worried about this game's lifespan? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have been for a while. I have been for about 6 months. I mean, when you lose 40,000 accounts in a year, which is what they've lost according to STFC.WTF in the course of 2025, that's cause for concern. Do I think the game's dying in the next 12 months? Absolutely not. But it is the difference between us talking about the game lasting, you know, 2 more years or 5 more years. We really have to see them make some major improvements over the next, you know. Yeah, it should have blown up by now. Didn't blow up? Okay. Well, let's see if we get an extra beam in here before it blows up. Because there's a timer. It's not going to be able to resist the hazard. There it goes. Yeah, I am genuinely concerned, which is why I'm also making content with multiple games now. Like, I'm not just STFC. I'm doing things with a lot of things. And that's why. It's something that people legitimately do need to think about. So, who knew that GS31 could hit the level 70 systems with warp range? Yep. Yep. All right, so we did pretty good in here. Let's go see. Can we make it up here? Did pretty fine there. Let's go check the 66s. Now, again, warp range, I could have gone further in here, but since I've been grinding pretty exclusively with the Rotard and stuff, let's go see how the Akira does. Have you played a Terminator game? I've never played a Terminator game. Cool series, cool franchise. I like Terminator, but never played one. So. All right. The big thing with the GS31, for those curious, is the GS31 has so much natural hazard resistance thanks to its research and stuff. GS31 is a ship that we really push our G6 players to focus on because it could even be your primary grind ship. And that shocks a lot of people, but it really can. Ever Minerva's been ready all week? Yeah, well, you were supposed to have a Minerva video already if my PC hadn't literally died. So, again, that's okay. So 64 is where I need to stop because that was a big jump. We'll jump back. But yeah, that's I'm aware, my friend. I'm aware. Have Scobie given a comment on why G4 and below don't have the weekly spin event back for materials on weekends? Nope. They have not. It would be something that I continue to argue for. However, there's not a definite answer. What'd you think about the Black Friday treasury? I mean, I didn't buy it. Obviously, my money all went to this new computer. Well, actually, the credit card went to the new computer. All donations are greatly appreciated, never required. If you want to do that, there's PayPal, Venmo, Cash App in the chat, as well as my website, revenues.com. But to, I guess, just answer your question directly, I think it's fine. I mean, it's Mirror Her and Black Ops and Benga. If you're a PvP player, there's some good officers there. I think treasuries are treasuries, man. Like, I'm always going to have the same opinion of a treasury. A treasury is a treasury, which is always going to be more valuable than a normal pack. And you just have to decide if the contents that is presenting this particular time are worth it to you, or if you need those particular items this time around. Sometimes you're not going to need those things. You know, maybe those officers don't interest you, and that's completely okay. Wish I go back to multi-tier spend SMS for officers. I like them a lot better than the current format. Well, so as far as officer events go, all that matters, and I'm just being honest, player sentiment doesn't matter at all. All that matters is what event earns the most money, what style. That's all they really care about with the monthly officer stuff. Which one's earning the most money? And the struggle lately is that not been earning much from those styles. That's why they've pulled away from it. Now, if it returns to that being the style that is going to make them the most money, they'll do that heroic style again. But every month, one of their primary earners has always been officer sales, and the best way for them to do that has been these style of events. And when that money starts to dry up, they're going to find a way to keep that money and that revenue going. Now, is that my way of encouraging you to spend? Absolutely not. Just saying, unless we can convince them that people are going to spend on certain styles of events, those are events that they're just going to continue to like do whatever they feel like. And to be honest, a lot of times they're shooting in the dark. They're making educated guesses like, oh, maybe they'll spend on this style, which is why you saw the past couple months, the officer sourcing has been through treasuries. It's been a completely new style to try to be like, okay, well, this method has been failing, so let's try something new. Maybe we can convince them to try the other way again, but it's going to come down to how well is it selling. And obviously, as a player, we just want to get the stuff. So if you look, the 64 battleships in Augment are about 30 billion weaker than the interceptors. Ship power is pretty irrelevant, Umbra. Ship power is pretty irrelevant, but yes. Really, I'm more focused on the abilities than anything else. And also, you know, I want to make sure my mitigation is good, stuff like that. But I don't really pay attention to ship power anymore. It's just, am I countering their abilities? Like, the drawback to the Akira versus the Rotaran is, like, that Apex Shred, I'm not able to get it. That hull repair, I'm not able to get it. That ISO and that shield repair, I'm not able to get these. That's the advantage the Rotaran has in this setup. But if I can get a little bit further, that means I'm going to earn a little bit better currency. So I'm grinding the 64s versus the 62s. If y'all remember, we have the augment spreadsheet does go over the payouts for that. But yeah, that would be why. You actually liked Uhura in the Black Friday treasury since our only sourcing is arenas. I very rarely do arenas. That's fair. And as we've seen in the upper level of the game, you see G7 players using Mirror right now. So maybe, right? I mean, worth going after. Again, it's does the treasury have something that's valuable to you, you know? That's the real key. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up for the day. I think for the first YouTube on the new computer, it went okay. But my wife and family just got home, so I need to go help them with getting the stuff out of the car and everything. If y'all need anything, please reach out to me. I can't stress this enough. Whether it's Facebook, Discord, my website, message me if you need anything. That's what I'm here for. My entire brand is based on helping the community. So if you need anything, reach out to me. A little bit shorter than we normally do, but that's, again, I'm trying to get everything back and going with the new computer. We'll hopefully have normal set of stuff throughout the rest of the week. Live long and plunder. Stay safe out there. Deuces. Appreciate you. Thomas, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you for loving on me and my family. I greatly appreciate you. And I will see y'all all tomorrow, hopefully. Y'all have a great day. Let's rotate.
Fancy intro music, yeah!